Hi, this is Chris Oberg, and it is Friday. We're standing outside of the Georgia Dome, and I'm standing with some Southeastern California Conference delegates. We are so glad our little voting cards are no longer needed. We've concluded our business. I'm standing with Donna Richards, John Brunt, Frida Roos, and Caleb Hara. This is just a portion, about half of your delegates that have done business this week, and I thought you might enjoy hearing some highlights from the week. And Donna, will reflect with you first. This is not your first General Conference session. I know you were a delegate in 2005. She's actually our most seasoned delegate. Although Pastor Brunt has been to several sessions, this is his first time as a delegate. So Donna, would you reflect with us for a moment about how you've been impressed this week with the business of the church?
I was particularly impressed with Pastor Ted Wilson, our new GC president. I was so pleased with his affirmation of our reaffirmation of belief number 6 on creation. He took a very strong position to the affirmative of that belief, and it was encouraging because we have experienced quite a bit, I would say, of consternation about that belief in the recent past and present. So I was so pleased that he took the position that he did, and it was encouraging, I believe, to the World Church to hear our leader take such a strong affirmative position on our belief number 6. The other thing that I was particularly pleased about, there was a motion at one time to allow the executive committee of the General Conference to appoint the associate directors for our different departments because the nominating committee felt pressed for time. This motion was defeated, and I must say that I thought that was in the best interest of the World Church, because our church needs to feel invested in the process. It's very important for the World Church to feel that they have a say, they have a voice, and their opinions matter. And the transparency of what happens in the General Conference, I think that's vitally important. And our members need to feel that there is transparency and there is nothing to fear. Of course there isn't, because we trust our leaders to the most extent, but transparency is always a good thing. And so I was appreciative that that particular motion did not succeed at this time.
Now that was at the beginning of the week, and I'll just remind people at home, we spoke about that early on, and you've probably read, Donna, that meant that there was a lot more work for the nominating committee here.
Yes, there was.
But that made you happy, and a lot of other people happy, because that meant a more invested experience here.
Yes, yes.
John, as you think about the week, what resonates with you, something you'll take home as a highlight?
Well, I think others here are going to talk about the business session, but also we heard a lot of preaching, and it was inspiring to hear marvelous preaching here. Some of the best sermons we heard were from Southeastern California. Chris Oberg gave a wonderful sermon, Randy Roberts as well, and of course an alumnus from our conference, Hyveth Williams. But there were preachers that I had never heard of before who inspired me tremendously. A woman named Brenda Billingy from Maryland, Metropolitan Church in Maryland. She gave a dramatic presentation of the story of the woman taken in adultery with a stone in her hand that was just incredibly moving. Just wonderfully inspiring preaching through the week. So in addition to the business sessions, that has been a tremendous part of the experience here.
Frida, what do you think about, as a leader for a long time in your local church, the Loma Linda University Church, and a head elder there?
Well, there were really a lot of things in the business session that were very interesting, but one of the most interesting to me was when we were talking about the church manual and ordaining deaconesses or not. And I was really impressed that the comments in favor of that were coming primarily from outside of North America. There were a lot of comments linking it to women's ordination, but in the end, the statement in the church manual is actually stronger than what the initial committee had intended, in that it says now that we shall have ordination for deacons and deaconesses, period. And I felt that that was really a leading of God, and it seemed to me that even the chair of the committee or the chair of the session was a little bit surprised at how strong it came out, and the vote was very strong. So I applaud those from all around the world who were willing to take this issue on and really talk about it seriously.
Did you notice even in this morning's session, by the way, or was it yesterday, there was a person who, realizing how much, how strong the vote actually is and how much more strongly stated it is in the church manual. At yesterday's business session, someone attempted to stand up and do a little bit of overturning of that by a little bit of undermining, and the chair would not allow it. What we've voted. So that was interesting to us. Pastor Caleb from the Anaheim Spanish Church, now you have been here with your family this week.
Yes, I have, and they had a lot of fun.
Tell us, remind us the ages of your boys, your young ones.
Yes, my wife is here with my two youngest sons, Joshua and Isaac, and they have been eating out. They went to the park 2 or 3 times. We went to the aquarium just today, to the CNN Center, so a lot of fun for the family.
I saw your boys going up and down the escalator at the hotel showing all the prizes that they've collected from around the city. You have a happy family.
Thank you. Yes, they are.
Talk to us about the session, Caleb. What strikes you?
I was very much impressed with the emphasis on a spiritual formation. The Bible is very clear in the spirit of prophecy on the need that we have to come closer to God and to represent God in everything that we do. In other words, to work in our hearts. Not so much in having the correct theology and the correct dogma, but to work in having a correct attitude. I also was impressed about the emphasis on accomplishing the mission. It seems like every person that talked up there and every president of the division mentioned that we need to continue to preach and make disciples for the kingdom of God. And in order to do that, Chris, we must include everybody. Yeah. I'm very happy that in this session, we emphasize strongly that we need women to be included in accomplishing the mission in the local church, and we need to include the young people at every level of the church. So I think that was very beneficial to accomplish the goal of making disciples for the kingdom of God.
We did get a confirmation back this morning from the administrators of our world headquarters that in fact they are committing now over the next 5 years, over this quinquennium, to reevaluate again how to make this happen, what Caleb has just referenced, a more full involvement of youth at all levels of leadership, mentoring them, and reevaluating structures and policies that are in place. Strategies, I think, is what they said. Strategies and policies, reviewing those to make it more feasible and easy for youth and also women to be involved in the church. And so we leave with a sign of hope from Atlanta. We're glad to be coming home to where church really happens in all of our local churches. And I think we're all ready to go home and get back to our local congregations. We'll be seeing you soon. And that is your viewpoint for our Southeastern California Conference here from Atlanta.